Okay, number 3. Below is the graph of the curve of this function, okay? Y equals 10 cosine x over sine x plus 1 plus 0.2x squared. Now the graph is here. They ask you to find the line, tangent line, right? They ask you to find the, let me see, go up a little bit. So they ask you to find the tangent line. They ask you to find the tangent line. Or find the slope of tangent line to this. Just find the slope, right? So what we can do is this. We find the slope. We go here. We know slope equals what? For the curve, the function, we just do derivative, right? We just find derivative of this one. And for example, if you can find the derivative, I put it here, okay? We find the derivative of the function here, y derivative, right? So when we do this derivative, we will get what? This is we use quotient rule, okay? Quotient rule said you derivative to the top first. So you get what? 10, and 10 is a constant, leave it there. And then cosine derivative will be the sine x, right? And then time by the denominator. So it's time by denominator. Denominator is this part. So you're gonna have what? Derivative of this will be just copy it, because they said derivative of the top time by the bottom. So you put sine, right? X, okay? And then plus 1 plus 0.2x squared. And the minus, keep the top. So I put as 10 cosine x, derivative of the bottom one, which is cosine x from the sine x derivative, right? One derivative is 0, constant is 0. And add by this coefficient here, put as 0.2, leave it there. And then power rule for this part derivative is 2x. And then the power rule said derivative of the top time by the bottom minus derivative of the bottom time by the top. This derivative of the bottom, right? And time by the top here. And then you divide it by the denominator squared. This is sine x plus 1 plus 0.2x squared, like this. And the squared like this. Don't forget the squared there. So actually we find the derivative of the function. And now what we're gonna do is what? We try to find out what's the slope at different points here. We have like a 0, x equals -0.5 and positive 5. So we pick up 0 first, okay? Easier. So we find the slope at x equals what? 0, okay? So it's simply what? That's derivative 0, like this, huh? 0 is easier, right? So let's do this one first, okay? So 0, this one is 0, sine 0 is 0, everything 0. Cosine 0 is 1. Be careful here. So that means this part we have what? Negative 10 times by cosine 0 here is 1 times 1, okay? And then time by cosine 0 is 1. But this part will be the 0, all right? Divided by the bottom one. This is 0, this is 0, just 1. 1 squared still 1. So you will have what? -1, negative 10. That's the slope when x equals 0. Now they ask when x equals 5 here. So how do you find that? We do the 5 first, okay? We do this one first. So this 5, the slope will be derivative 1x equals 5. Simply plugging 5 in. Oh, a little bit long, huh? So I'm just write it smaller, okay? So let's get this one here, erase this one first, and then, so we go y derivative at 5, x equals 5. So that means what? Plugging here by 5, right? So you're gonna have a 10 times by sine 5 times by sine 5, add by 1, add by 0.2, times by 5 squared, right? This part. And they got a minus, oh, it's squeezed here. So minus 10 cosine 5, okay? And they got time by parenthesis here, okay? Cosine 5 plus, okay, but here this space is limited here. So you got this one times, huh? We're gonna continue from here. This one times, go to here, okay? Times, parenthesis, cosine 5 plus 0.4 times 5, like this. And then divided by the bottom one, sine 5 plus 1 plus 0.2 times by 5 squared and the squared, like this. Huh? So when you got those, you just simply do what? Do the calculation, use the calculator, okay? But my understanding here, the 5 should be in radian. So when you use calculator, you may go to, you have to change the mode to, right now is here, the mode is in degree. So we have to change it to what? In radian first. So mode in radian, okay? And then after you change this one to radian, so we will go, just simply key in everything, right? So what we're gonna do is this. I'm going to do one time, got everything down. So, because I need to plug in what? X equals 5 and x equals -5. I do not want to calculate twice, okay? What I'm going to do is this. I go key in the function. I use a y equals, like this one. So y equals, I go this y equals here. Get it? Okay. Now I key in the function now. I key in 10. I put a parenthesis first, okay? Parenthesis 10 sine x. This one, right? Time by parenthesis. So I'm doing this one now, okay? I key in everything here. First, I put the outside of parenthesis to cover the whole thing here, okay? So 10, a parenthesis, I key in parenthesis, 10 sine x, time by parenthesis, sine, I'm going to here now, okay? Here. So sine x, closing. And then we plus 1 plus 0.2 x squared. And then closing. So I finish it up to here now, right? And then continue minus 10 cosine x, okay? And then time by, so 10 minus 10 cosine x, and time by this one now. I put a parenthesis here, be careful, huh? When you use parenthesis, you have a left parenthesis, make sure you have a closing right side parenthesis, okay? So cosine x closing plus, this is 0.2 times 2 equals 0.4x closing. And closing again, because you have the 2 closing parentheses there. Okay, let's double check on the top part, okay? So we have 10 sine x times by parenthesis sine x plus 1 plus 0.2 x squared closing parenthesis, and then minus 10 cosine x and times by parenthesis cosine x plus 0.4 x closing and closing. Good. And then we do divide. This fraction line is divide. And then we do the bottom part now. We put parentheses first, and then we're gonna have sine x closing and a plus 1 plus 0.2 x squared and the closing and the square again, because you have a closing parenthesis and then square here, okay? So the bottom one is sine x, parenthesis sine x plus 1 plus 0.2 x squared. Okay, so that's what I got here. This. Okay? Okay, and then we just put what? Enter. When I have this one, you can go by this. You use what? There is a second function here. This is second function. You press the second function, and then you go to calculate, okay? Oh no, you go second function, okay, like this here. After you got this in already, right? You go second function, and then you would like to go table set here. They have a table set here. They got like this one now. So when you got table set, you can put like a start at 0, and every time you're increasing by 5, okay? Or you can go like this. You can go like from -5, every time you're increasing by 5, like this. So we can see all the values now. So you enter. And then you will go second function table again. You got table now. You see here? 1x equals from here. So we can find out y derivative 1x equals -5. We got a what? 1.48. Okay? And this one derivative, we got a what? -10. That's correct. This one we did manually, but the calculator shows the same thing. And then y derivative, the 5 will be equals what? Equals -2.16. -2.16. Okay? So you can see the value right here. All right? Okay. When you have this one, we finish everything. We find the slope of each point when x equals -5, x equals 5, and x equals 0, like this. But let's look at the graph, okay? Here, when x is -5, be careful here. When x is -5 here, the tangent line is not like this, huh? The tangent line is like this. See that? This is a tangent line. You will see this tangent line slope is negative. Wait a minute. This one should be, hold on. -5. -5, hold on. This graph is something weird, eh? So this one should be, this is tangent, okay? And then a 0 at here, that's what? This one, this is tangent. This is -10, this is negative match. And then y is 5 here. This should be positive here. But why this two signs a little bit different? What's wrong with the calculation here? We go back to here. Okay, for this part here, we see here, here, we have a 10 cosine x derivative. We should put what? Negative here. You have a negative sign here, okay? So I'm just erase this part first, get this one first, and then you should have what? Negative 10x, okay? This is the only thing we gotta be careful there. So if you do that, because if you put negative here, if we do the calculation, I use the calculator and plug it in. So this is a negative 10, okay? And instead of doing each of the value, I plug in the function with the y equals to, I use y equals to like this. So, and then we just check the value of the x equals -5 and 5. So we go to table like this. So we notice that -5, this one, the value of derivative here will be equals to, this one will be equals to -66.69, okay? And the +5 derivative of x equals to +5 will be 48 point. Okay, for this question, there is another one. It's not clear is that they're not telling you this axis in degree or in radian units, okay? So I checked with the calculator here. If I put the mode as a degree, will be make the answer more make sense. So I assume this is using the degree, okay? So if you do that, you will get what? You will get the y equals to, if x equals to -5 degrees, and then the value of the derivative slope will be 5.4. No, this is not good. Hold on. Okay, on this part here, if you put as a degree, this x equals -5, derivative is 5.4, but that's not make sense here because this is a negative slope, not positive. So I change back to the mode of in radian, okay? The mode should be in radian. If you go that way, when you get the calculation, that's what we can get what? The 1x equals -5 radian. This one will be -66.7, the slope. This is negative, this is go this way is negative here. And then 1x equals to 5, and the derivative will be what? 48.4. This is positive, so this is positive, okay? So this is a match now. So let's recall what we did here. This one is nothing big issue. The whole thing here, what we just do is what? We just need to do the derivative of this function first. Of course, a little bit long, but you just simply use the chain rule to get this function, right? So after you get this function, you can plug in the value of x equals 0, x equals -5, or 5. But the fast way will be what? Simply use the equation function like this, y equals to, you can key in the function there, and then you can find all the values, okay? So the answer here is this, this, all right? If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, bye-bye.